If you're still dealing with stomach pain and bloating after you eat, even after you've cleaned up your diet, added in supplements, and maybe even done some testing and treated a gut infection, this episode is for you. Because here's what almost nobody talks about. The thing driving your symptoms after meals might not show up on a single lab test, and it might not be a gut infection at all. So, today I'm walking you through three sneaky causes of stomach pain and bloating that have absolutely nothing to do with lab results. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Stomach Solution, the podcast for all you high achievers out there who are tired of managing your reflux, heartburn, and stomach pain and are ready for a solution that lasts. I'm Jessica Washington, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and former reflux sufferer myself, so I know firsthand what it feels like to do everything right and still feel like your stomach is working against you. So, if you're ready to dig into your symptoms, hidden root causes, the ones that diet changes and supplements just won't touch, get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's uncover the solution to your stomach issues together. And as a reminder, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not a replacement for medical advice or treatment. Well, hello. Happy Monday. I hope your week is off to a great start. This is officially week 2 of both my kids being back in school. Everyone's enjoying themselves, so all is well. We have a first grader and a preschooler, so his last year of preschool. And first grade is really cool. Like, it's a big step up from kindergarten. He's gonna learn lots of cool things and doing things lots very independently. So that's been really cool to see. And then pre-K, I don't know if this is just a second child thing, but this kid like knows all of the pre-K things. Like he can write his name, he knows his numbers and his colors and his shapes and his letters. And so I think he's gonna breeze through this year, but it'll be fun just to do all the like little lasts at this little preschool. So that's what we've been doing over here. My husband and I have been enjoying quiet lunchtimes together again, and yeah, it's been nice to get back into a routine. And that routine also includes recording podcasts, which has been really fun. I've been enjoying being back, and I hope you enjoyed last week's little health update episode. So I will keep those coming because there's lots going on over here. But today we are talking about the sneaky causes of stomach pain and bloating after meals, which is a super common symptom combination that I see with my clients. And so I really wanted to dig into it a little bit today because I found that people will either experience symptoms more when their stomach is empty, like before they've eaten, or after meals. And so if you are in the symptoms after meals camp, this episode is going to be for you and hopefully be really helpful and just help you see why these things are happening and how you can control it. And just real talk before we start, I am 100% guilty of the very things we're going to be talking about and that I'm going to be telling you to do today. So I am half speaking to myself during this episode and half speaking to you. So we can do this together. But I have small kids. I've got a lot going on, very limited time to get things done while they're in school. And, so I find myself like eating on the go, at the counter, doing a bunch of other things, hardly tasting my food, all of that. So, this is all me speaking from both clinical knowledge as a practitioner and personal experience as a human being. But I really wanted to make this episode today because when we are dealing with gut symptoms, especially ones that you have had for a long time, it can feel like you need to do more in order to feel better, like more testing, more figuring out, more digging, more supplements, all of those things. And so it's really easy to get pulled towards all of that exciting stuff, right? That stuff feels like the answer. You want to find the H. pylori and the candida and all of the imbalances going on. You want a name for the thing that's been making you miserable and with all of these symptoms. And so you just keep finding. And I get it, right? I do that deeper detective work all the time with clients, and it's what I really enjoy, and it really does matter, and it moves the needle for so many people. We couldn't heal without it. But I will say some of the biggest improvements I see in people's symptoms, especially after meals, don't come from those fancy treatment protocols at all. Those improvements come from just fixing the easy Those improvements come just from fixing the boring stuff that we have direct control over. The stuff that we don't need a supplement to correct, that really no one wants to work on. But if you don't work on it, you will be doing everything else right, supplement, treatment protocol wise, and you'll still be dealing with symptoms. So it's really important. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And so I want you to know that this stuff matters. It's important. It's not just fluffy. It's not just a nice add-on. These are things that if you don't do them, that could be why you're not feeling better. So listen, listen in. Okay. So we're going to dive into the three sneaky things that are behind your bloating and your stomach pain after you eat. And if you're anything like me, I have a feeling that at least one of these is gonna maybe call you out a little bit, kind of be like, oh yeah, that sounds like something I need to work on. So if I end up calling you out, let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram. I would love to hear about it. I'd just love to hear from you. A lot of times when you do a podcast, you're just talking to yourself, but I know you're out there listening. So let me know. All right. Before we dive into these three big causes, I want to give you a little behind the scenes and a concept to kind of hang on to for this episode because really everything comes back to and centers around this one concept, and that is your digestive capacity. So, digestive capacity is basically just your body's ability to actually break down your food, to take that meal that you just ate and break it apart into small pieces and then eventually like mush that your body can use to extract calories and nutrients from. And this matters so much for what we're talking about today because when you eat and then like 20, 30 minutes later, you're bloated and your stomach hurts, a large majority of the time, that is not some big gut infection. That's not something you need to run a test or run out and get all these supplements and treat. It's really just your food sitting there, not moving through your digestive tract and not breaking down well. And when your food does not break down well, when it just sits there, it ferments, and that fermentation makes gas. And then that gas is the bloating and pressure in your stomach. So, what a lot of people are convinced is, something's really wrong with me, something I need to figure out, is actually just your body not having what it needed to digest your meal. And really, that's great news because your digestive capacity is something that you have a lot of control over. And it also means that we have to look at those three big sneaky causes that quietly tank that digestive capacity. Because all three of these causes I'm about to walk you through do the exact same thing. They lower your digestive capacity just from three different angles. So keep that in mind. Digestive capacity is king. It's the name of the game here. And so let's get into our little sneaky causes. So sneaky cause number one is you're eating rushed, distracted, and on the go. Love that for us. So think about how you actually eat most of your meals. Like if you think about breakfast this morning, what were you doing? Were you sitting down? Were you relaxed? Were you actually focused on your food and paying attention to what you're eating? Or are you eating in the car on the way to drop off the kids? Are you standing at the counter? Are you scrolling your phone? Are you answering emails at your desk at work? Are you feeding everyone else and then inhaling your own food so the children don't kill each other, right? And if you're nodding along, yeah, me too, right? Small kids, busy life, need to get kids out the door, also need to eat. And so you're not alone. And this is honestly how most people eat and function. And this is maybe why most people have stomach issues. And so here's the problem with this. When you eat rushed and stressed and distracted, your body is still in that go, 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 fight or flight mode. And your body does not digest well in fight or flight mode. Digestion is a restful process. Your body only really does it well when it feels calm and safe. And so when you're running around, your nervous system is basically going, all right, we are busy surviving right now. I don't have time to produce stomach acid. I don't have time to move your intestines. Like, you're just going to have to wait. And so it pulls all of the resources away from the digestive process and towards just keeping your heart rate up, increasing your breathing rate, getting your muscles pumping with blood. And this is all happening before the food even hits your stomach. You're already making less stomach acid. Your gut is already at a standstill. Your pancreas is releasing fewer digestive enzymes. And so you could be eating the cleanest, most perfect gut-friendly meal on the planet and taking the best, most perfect gut healing supplements. But if you're eating stressed and distracted, nothing's going to work. If your body's just not set up to break it down, you're not going to feel well after you eat. End of story. There. So that was sneaky cause number one. You just need to chill. You need to sit down. You need to be calm. I tell my clients, take some deep breaths before you eat. It takes like 30 seconds to a minute to just breathe 6 times, nice and slow. And I bet you will feel much calmer. So there you go. All right, sneaky cause number two is not chewing enough. And this probably sounds too simple to even matter, but I promise you it makes a huge difference because it's really easy to forget that digestion doesn't start in your stomach, it starts in your mouth. Chewing is really important. It does two big jobs. First, it physically breaks down your food into smaller pieces so that everything after it in the digestive process, right, your stomach, your small intestine, has less work to do. And then second, chewing is a signal to the rest of your digestive tract. It's one of the first things that tells the rest of your gut, like, hey, food's coming, we need to get ready, we need to start producing stomach acid, we need to start expelling that bile, we need to start producing digestive enzymes. And so chewing well helps all of those other organs and processes get a good heads up that food is coming so that they can support digestion and help you feel better after you eat. So when you are barely chewing, when you take a couple bites and just swallow everything down, which by the way, is exactly what happens when you're rushing and distracted and not paying attention to your meal. You're sending these big chunks of poorly broken down food into your stomach, and your stomach and small intestine can only do so much with that. They were not designed to have to make up for the work that was supposed to happen in your mouth. And so your stomach and small intestine are like sending the SOS signals over here while you're just not doing your job. So if you want your gut to do its job, you need to do your job by chewing well. Okay? That's all. And it's one of the simplest things you can do. It costs $0. It's free. You have full control over it, but you actually have to like focus and slow down and do it. Got it? Okay. I hope you still like me after this episode, but these are the things that no one likes to do, but they make the biggest difference. So I'm gonna keep talking about them. All right. Sneaky cause number three. Your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight mode. And this one, again, that thread running through the whole episode, it all comes back to your nervous system state, what your body is feeling and experiencing while you're eating. And this one too is bigger than what you're doing just right at the moment that you're eating. It's about really the state of your nervous system that your body is living in the entire day. Because if we're being honest, a lot of us aren't just stressed at mealtime. We are stressed all the time. We run on adrenaline and caffeine and not a lot of sleep. We never stop doing things. We just can't just sit down and stare out the window. We always have to have our phones or the TV or something in our ears, right? And after a while, your body just starts to default to that stressed fight or flight state as its normal baseline. And remember what we said earlier, digestion only happens when your body feels safe and calm. It's called the rest and digest state of your nervous system. So if your baseline is chronic stress and fight or flight, always on the go, your body is basically never giving digestion the green light to fully do its thing. And I actually just did a whole episode on vagus nerve stimulation and how the vagus nerve is a huge regulator of your rest and digest state. And so if this whole nervous system, always on the go piece is really resonating for you, I will put that link in the show notes so you can go back and listen to that one because it really goes into so much more detail about your nervous system and how important it is for digestion. So, nervous system. But really, the big takeaway here is that you can do everything else right You can be eating all the right foods. You can even be doing those first two things. You can be sitting down in a calm state, not distracted. You can be chewing really well. But if your body is chronically in this overdrive, nervous system, always on the go, chronic stress state, it's going to have a real hard time shifting into that calm state where digestion can actually take place. And you're going to keep dealing with symptoms after you eat, even though you're doing everything else right. So, practical things that you can do to help calm your nervous system, especially right before eating. We kind of talked about this a little bit already, but just take a few minutes when you're seated at the table, or if there's like other people around and you don't want to do your deep breathing in front of other people, go in the bathroom, go in a different room, and just take a little bit of time. 6 deep breaths are all it takes to lower your blood pressure and calm your body down. So try it next time you eat. Take that big deep inhale and then a long extended exhale. Doesn't have to be anything complicated. Do it 6 times. Give your body some time to calm down and get in a state where it can digest well. And I also recommend weaving that in throughout your day, right? Because we're not just talking about your state, your nervous system state while you're eating. We're talking about it throughout the entire day. So if you can like set a reminder on your phone, if you have a fancy Apple Watch, make it buzz. I don't know how that works, but at certain time points, and remind yourself to like take some deep breaths, go in the bathroom, be by yourself. You can hang out in there for a second, do some deep breathing, calm yourself down. And over time, that will help your body be able to shift back into that calm state. And if you can do that consistently, I bet you will be feeling significantly better after meals without changing anything that you're eating, without changing any supplements you're taking. You have control over this, folks. It's awesome. So, how this all connects together, because I really want to help you see the chain reaction that's happening here, or I guess like failing to happen if you're not doing these things, because digestion, like we talked about a little bit earlier, is really like a row of dominoes. Each piece knocks over the next one. And if one of those dominoes doesn't fall down, your food's going to be sitting there. You're going to feel bloating, stomach pain, and not super great after eating. And so it goes like this. We start with chewing. Chewing breaks down your food, kicks off the whole digestive process, telling your body that food is on the way. That plus food actually showing up in your stomach triggers your stomach acid. And then that food moving out of your stomach is what triggers your pancreatic enzymes and your bile to release downstream in your small intestine. Your enzymes break down your food even more. Your bile handles all that fat emulsification and helps everything keep moving through your intestines. And so, if that first domino, the chewing, is not doing its job, everything else in that cascade is also not going to function as well. So, if you're rushing, if you're stressed, if you're not sitting down, if you're barely chewing, if you're not focusing on your food, you just wiped out that very first domino in that cascade, and nothing else is going to work as well as it should be. Your stomach acid is going to be weaker, and then because your stomach acid is weak, the pancreatic enzymes and bile release is going to be weaker, and you're just not going to feel great. Everything's underperforming. You have poor digestion, and it's not because you have H. pylori. It's because you're not chewing and you're not calm. That is enough to make you feel miserable after you eat. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear, right? You want it to be this gut infection that all you have to do is take supplements and then you feel better. But unfortunately, that's not how your body works. Your body responds deeply to you and your stress state. And so please take away from this that you have so much control over what your body is feeling and how you're feeling and your symptoms, especially after meals. No supplement is going to out support a body that is in survival mode, that is distracted, that is rushing through every single meal. No lab result is going to fix the fact that you are not actually giving your body what it needs to digest. You cannot out supplement, you cannot out test a strong foundation of just like eating that is not there. And I know that's not the most exciting answer, probably not what you want to hear, but I'm telling you, these 3 things are the most important things you can do to support your digestion, and they're free. So if you're not doing them, we need to take a step back from all the other figuring and all of the other things that you're trying to do and that you're doing probably really, really well to support your gut, and do the things that you have control over and are going to be foundational in how you feel after eating. There's nothing more basic and fundamental to feeling well after eating than this. And so these three things are the foundation that all of the testing and all of the supplements are built on top of. And so when you can nail these, which I know you can, you will be amazed at how many of those mystery symptoms or the things that you've been stuck with, even though you're doing everything else right, just start to fade away. So if you're listening to this, again, if I've called you out, please let me know. Would love to chat and just encourage you that you have control over this and that you can do something about it. And so if you're sitting here and realizing that, yeah, you've been chasing all of the advanced, like flashy stuff while skipping right past these fundamentals, please know, super common. This comes up in conversations with every single one of my clients. And so it's very normal. It's completely fixable and very much within your control. And if you want help figuring out where your biggest roadblocks actually are when it comes to healing your stomach and resolving your symptoms, I made something for you. This is actually the first time I'm talking about it on the podcast because it was kind of new, but I put together a quiz that will help you pinpoint your biggest stomach healing roadblocks. And more importantly, it will help show you how to start moving past them. And so, quiz takes probably like 3 minutes. It will give you some real clarity on where to actually focus so you can stop like trying to do all of the things, stop guessing. You can focus on those one or two things that the quiz gives you and start moving forward from there. And so you can find the quiz at quiz.theguthealingninja.com, or it will be in the show notes. So go take it, take your time with it, be really honest with your answers, and let's start figuring out what's actually standing in the way of you feeling good after you eat, because we don't want you to feel bloated and have stomach pain and just not want to eat because it makes you feel bad. So go do that quiz. Let me know if you have any questions. I loved chatting about this today. I hope you did too. But thanks so much for being here, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning into the Stomach Solution. If you got something valuable out of today's episode, please subscribe to the show and leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. It takes about 30 seconds and makes a huge difference in helping this show reach the people who need it the most. And if you're ready to dig even deeper into what's going on with your gut, come find me on Instagram at The Gut Healing Ninja, or head to theguthealingninja.com to get more resources and strategies to help you heal. And remember, there is a solution to your stomach issues, and we will find it together.